So let's talk about stretching versus foam rolling and which is better for back pain relief. If you've ever wondered how and why you should use and if you should use the foam roller, and how, why, and if you should use stretching to target your chronic back pain, today we're gonna cover that in depth. And this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button because it helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, which we all know is the king of YouTube. And I want to reach more people and you can help me do that. Also, if you want to take a non-stretching approach to beating chronic back pain for good, I'm not talking about quick relief, I mean, if you want to get rid of it for good, check out my back pain workshop at www.fitnessforbackpain.com/back pain workshop. I give you everything I know when it comes to approaching back pain, minus the stretching and what actually matters. So on the topic of foam rolling versus stretching, I want to first dive into foam rolling, kind of what it is, where we are at in the fitness space when it comes to whether or not foam rolling is actually useful. Now, I believe that foam rolling is a tool that you can use in your relief toolbox, in your recovery toolbox. If you are an avid trainer as far as exercising goes, or if you are not, you're just kind of like a weekend warrior, or you go to the gym maybe once or twice a week and it's just for the essentials to keeping in shape. Regardless, I think the foam roller can be a good tool for you. What you have to know about foam rolling is A, it's not gonna be the thing that takes away your back pain. You can foam roll the muscles that are tense, you can foam roll in your really weird way of doing it, your low back, but at the end of the day, the foam roller is not going to be the thing that takes away your pain. So we know it's not gonna be the thing that takes away the pain, what do we use it for? Let's keep it simple. Foam rolling can be used to treat the sliding and gliding of our fascia, right? That is really all that foam rolling can really target, is that fascia, or that superficial layer of our skin and the tissues right below it. Yes, through tension, tightness, scar tissue, stress, whatever you may be dealing with, these things over time can get a little bit rigid. And using something like a foam roller or like a lax ball or something like that can really help bring more robustness or health to this specific area. Now, again, since we know it's not going to beat back pain, how do we use it? So the foam roller is actually really great in introducing better movement. It's a great tool to addressing some of these tightnesses, addressing some of these issues that you might be having to ultimately help better movement, better body position. So which leads me to the stretching side of it. Should we use it? Is it important? Is stretching better than foam rolling? Is foam rolling better than stretching? When it comes to stretching, I truly in my heart believe, based off of both research and experience, is that stretching alone is not going to be the thing that beats back pain. I hate to break your heart about that, but ultimately stretching, the way I believe that we use stretching today to obviously trying to bring length to tissues, trying to increase our range of motion. And we hope that because of the tightness that we're experiencing, the tension in our lower back, or our hamstrings are super tight, or our calves are super tight, that if we stretch them, we're gonna get relief. So if you look at stretching like that, like I'm tight, let's stretch what's tight and I should get relief, correct? Well, that's not true. Oftentimes in the situations that I've been in, addressing tight muscles through stretching usually makes things worse, where in fact the tightness that you're experiencing could be typically due to a weakness that you might have. And if I was honest with you, I hate even using the word like stretching, because ultimately, or just using stretching to lengthen tissues, I prefer to use the word mobility. If we can bring more mobility to our joints, mobility to the way we operate at our joint, not just increasing the range of motion, but increasing the strength and stability at these joints with a better range of motion, right? So we're addressing tissues to maybe lengthen them some, but with that increase of range of motion, or increasing that mobility, we're also building stability around this new range of motion that we are creating. So that's the big disconnect when it comes to, is stretching even beneficial? So the way I try to look at stretching and teach students that I work with about stretching is, what position do I need to get into that is gonna be healthier for me? Is it a squat position? Is it a lunge position? Is it how I walk? Is it how I stand? Whatever your issue might be having, I like to use stretching specifically or strategically to help get into better positions. Because if we're not in a good position when we're exercising, or we can't get into a good position when exercising, our body will compensate. And if you have a sensitive low back where a lot of compensation is going on in the hips or wherever you might have them, it's causing issues up and downstream from that site. And oftentimes, due to a poor imbalance in the hip or how you use your legs or how you activate your glutes and things like that during exercise or during movement, your low back kicks on and takes most of that force. So if we can correct those imbalances, if we can correct those issues that we have getting into better positions, then we will be in good shape. So if we know that both of them can be used as a tool, which one is better? And this is where I've kind of fallen with myself and the clients that I work with, is I think they're both very, very important. It's just how you use them. You gotta be strategic with your approach to foam rolling, why you're doing foam rolling. Don't just do it because it's a fad or it's just really cool or it feels good. And don't stretch because things are just tight and you think stretching is gonna make them untight. We can't think of it that way. This is how I suggest you approach using foam rolling versus using stretching. It's not a versus necessarily, but using them together to get the end result that you want. So when it comes to foam rolling, I say do it for 2 to 5 minutes max. You can do it before your workout, you can do it after your workout, but don't just foam roll your entire body. What I suggest you do is find a localized area. What is an issue that you are having? Are you having an issue in your squatting? When you squat, your low back rounds and it's very uncomfortable, or you're having pain with that, or you don't seem like you can get into a good position due to your ankle range of motion, or whatever your situation might be, use foam rolling to target the specific muscles around your issue. For example, I have tight quads and tight hip flexors. It's how I've always had an issue with tight quads and tight hip flexors, which tends to lead to an overactive erector muscles, right? The big back straps that go down my spine. Oftentimes, if I have some kind of issue or flare up, it's always from a tightness in those erector muscles. And from experience, from having coaching for myself, I've learned that I have an overactive, super tight quad muscle group as well as hip flexors. So spending time on those muscles with the foam roller before I stretch, which is how we're gonna introduce stretching in, that serves me well, and that has served clients well at that same angle. Now, once I've spent about 2 to 5 minutes on the muscle areas that I wanna focus on, not the whole body, just the trouble areas, once I've spent time doing that foam rolling at various angles, various positions, speeds, and things like that, then I will move on to more of an active stretching. So I'm not just gonna stand up and kind of just grab my ankle to my butt and just stretch my quads that way. I'm gonna do things that are very strategic that get me the best results for my time. So this might look different for everybody. For me, it's doing things like the couch stretch, doing things like various hip flexor stretches, spending time both trying to get some active range of motion, active movement in those specific muscles after foam rolling them. Some targeted active stretching really does well. Now, when it comes to stretching, I say save it for the end of your workout. Focus on more of a recovery aspect to stretching. Don't think that, okay, I'm here to just make a short muscle super long. And if I make a short muscle super long or longer, then I'll feel better. Get that thought out of your mind. Think more about fresh blood flow to the area, bringing movement to the area, and restoration. That's where I want your mind to be thinking. And you're going to use that through the vessel of the foam rolling, through the vessel of active stretching. So after your workout, I like to spend, again, another 2 to 5 minutes targeting the specific muscle that I'm trying to bring length to, or trying to restore blood flow or restore its health. So when it comes to stretching, I always focus stretching last. Never do it before your workout. There's no research that says that it is better for you to stretch before workout, that it's injury prevention. I say if you do a good warm up, you do a little bit of foam rolling on the targeted areas, get into your workout. At the end of your workout, maybe do a little bit more foam rolling if you want on the targeted areas, and then get in your active recovery stretching. If you want to kind of go beyond your troubled issues, maybe stick with what you worked that day. So if you did some back exercises, maybe do some light, gentle stretching for the recovery aspect of your post-workout strategy. So if you've been trying to decide between stretching versus foam rolling and what is the best thing for your low back pain, I'm here to tell you, the search is over. You don't have to pick one or the other. I say use both of them. And if you're smart about it, if you're careful about it, if you're strategic about your specific issue when it comes to targeting low back pain and issues you might have up and downstream from the actual area of pain, which is in this case your low back, I think you're on the right track. If you go about it gentle, if you go about it cautiously, you're gonna see great results. So my question for you, what have you seen better results with? Is it stretching? Is it foam rolling? And what is your strategy? What has been your go-to strategy using one or the other, if not both together, to get the results that you're seeing now? Again, guys, if you haven't picked it up already, go to fitnessforbackpain.com/back pain workshop for my anti-stretch approach to using strength to relieve tension in your body and beat back pain. And I'll see you on the next episode.